I'm Melissa Shanahan, and this is the Velocity Work Podcast, episode number 119. This podcast is for attorneys who are running their own firms. We explore tactics, tools, and stories related to pushing past simply lawyering well and into building a successful firm. Working in your firm and working on your business are two very different things. This podcast focuses on the latter. Hi, guys. Welcome to this week's episode. I have a super fun one for you today. This is called Virtuous Procrastination is Still Procrastination. And this was inspired totally by a member in the September sprint. And his lesson learned was this. So the thing that he gave as that he wanted jotted down to capture as his lesson learned for that day was that virtuous procrastination is still procrastination. We got into this really great discussion and I loved the topic. And so I wanted to make sure to do an episode just on this alone, but I will be sharing the October sprint lessons with you pretty soon. So here's the deal. I mean, he's getting ducks in a row with his firm. He created a firm roadmap this quarter and he is getting things dialed in. He's had realizations. He knows the hires he needs to make, the team changes that he needs to make. He's expanding his space. He's getting new associates. Like, this is all happening and he's doing a really great job handling it all and planning for it and spending time on it every day towards it, like on the business work towards this. And so he's kind of caught up in the excitement of what is going on. Does not mean it's a cakewalk. So exciting and hard at the same time. He's kind of caught up in that. And so he was noticing that, he's supposed to be doing X. He made a plan, right, to do X, Y, and Z. It's time to do that thing. And instead, it feels super productive. But he's thinking, you know what? With this new space and with these new people, I need to shop for these certain things for the space. And so he'll sort of go down a rabbit hole with buying things that he does need that are probably important, but it's not really the time to do that. He carved out time to do something very specific that's important, or he wouldn't have made time to do it. And now he's veering off his path, right? And so it seems like a really smart, good thing to do, but it's a shiny object and it's still procrastinating on the thing that you said you were going to do. So I loved this lesson and I knew that every single listener out there would also appreciate this lesson. Virtuous procrastination is still procrastination. I was sharing with him and that sprint group that the way I think about procrastination for myself, there's this mental image that happens in my mind for me. So I thought I would share it here and see if it resonates with anyone else. But if it does, you can use it and actually have this visualization in your mind as you move through things and whether you're on track or you are off track because you're procrastinating. When I make a plan, in my mind, somehow it's like a vertical line. And my job is to stay on that path, like up almost, right? From bottom to it's vertical. And my job is to honor the plan, stay the path, stay the course. The plan that I made, I stay on that road. But there are different kinds of procrastination, virtuous procrastination, which is things that they're important and they need attention, but I didn't plan to do them. And so I'm just finding these wee moments to do them in and it's taking me off track. And then there's this other kind of procrastination, which is really low level procrastination, which is like, eating a bag of chips or getting up to go do something because you just don't feel like sitting and work, like just nothing that leads to anything good, right? Really low level stuff that very obviously is not the path that I want to be on. That's the difference between virtuous procrastination, I think, and non-virtuous procrastination is it's easier to justify the virtuous procrastination. And so as I was thinking about what he was saying, and it ties in with my mental image of the straight line, the vertical line in my head, that's my plan. And so my job is to honor the plan. So like execution is just following that line straight up. But in my head, it's me veering off to the right is for low level, non-virtuous procrastination. Like things that don't actually add to my life at all. Could be getting up to eat when I don't need a meal, right? Like it's just that kind of a thing. Or when I open up social media and I get down some rabbit hole there. No way. That doesn't add any value to my life at all. And so that's sort of the low level procrastination. And in my head, that's me veering off to the right from this straight vertical line that I should be on, that I said I wanted to do, and that I have the plan for. And then if I veer to the left, this is what happens to my mind. It's for things that are easy to justify or get behind, but it's still not what you plan to do. That's things like exercise or maybe rest when I'm tired. And I'll explain that in a minute. I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't rest when you're tired. Things that look like wellness or calling your mom or just like stuff that you know you need to do, and you find the time to do it when you're supposed to be doing something else. So that's the virtuous procrastination. So I loved the lesson that he brought, and I wanted to share this visual with you, how I think about when I have a plan. There's a visual in my mind, and if I'm off track, I can feel it. I can see it in my mind. I'm not in that vertical line anymore. I'm off to the side. And if it's to the right, it's for crappy stuff. And if it's to the left, it's for things that need to be done. I want to do. I'm choosing the wrong time to do it. If I really want to do it, I need to make a plan. I need to schedule time to do those things instead of just letting them take up space in when I'm supposed to be doing something towards where I really want to go, where I really want to be, and honoring my plan. Okay, so let's talk about, this whole idea of the virtuous procrastination. Oftentimes, that can be important stuff, and so it's easy to justify it. But here's how I deal with that. When I have the thought in a certain day, I am so tired. Like I feel tired. And what happens for me, I do not give in to that in the moment. I take a breath and I recognize that I'm tired, and I know I'm tired and I can continue on this path. It may not be perfect, but let's keep going. The plan was not to go rest or take a nap or whatever it is to rejuvenate, right? And the reason I do that is because I made this plan. If I didn't make the plan the way that it needed to be, then I start experiencing things that don't work. And the only way that I will ever shift my plan making, that I'll get better and better and better in the future at making a plan, is if at the end of the week, when I do my Friday wrap, I look back and reflect on the week and what went well and what were my top accomplishments, but also what didn't go well. What barriers did I experience this week? What was the lesson learned from me? And oftentimes, not so much anymore, but there was a stretch where my lessons learned about the week and about how I operated that week were about that I didn't give myself enough space, or that I didn't go to bed early enough, or that there's something wrong with the way that I'm operating that made it so that I couldn't really stick to the plan that I made. And then I have an opportunity the next time I sit down and do my Monday map and I plan out the next week, then is my opportunity to be better with planning. Does that mean I need to actually give some thought about what time I need to go to bed? Okay, let's do that. Does it mean that I need to adjust the pace of my day? Okay, then let's do that. But do you see how in the middle of a week when you're executing your plan, you do what you can do, and everybody's in a different place. And I'm not saying that you just, work yourself into the ground till you're a shell of yourself on a day. You get to make your own calls. But when you give yourself relief in the moment, and the reason that you're needing to give yourself relief is because of the way that you set things up, then you need to just keep going. That way, you are very used to honoring your plan no matter what, to the best of your ability. And then at the end of the week, you have an opportunity to kind of reflect and then be willing to shift the next week. That's how I think about it for myself. And this is not to say that I've never allowed myself to rest in a week. It really does depend on what's going on. Generally speaking, though, no. If something happens that I couldn't have foreseen and it's urgent, legitimately urgent, then yeah, it means my plan has to change. But I build in buffer time so that that's okay anyway, most of the time when that happens. And on the other side of it, so that's if something urgent happens, if there's something that comes up that I didn't anticipate that isn't urgent, then it's my chance to still practice my plan and not just give in to the thing that popped up in front of me. It's not urgent. It doesn't need to be dealt with. I can schedule time to deal with it. So I don't just give into it or indulge in that. And then also, so being tired is the thing for me. when it comes up, I pay very close attention to the feeling, because there's a difference between being burned out, kind of tired, where you just don't have any gas left in the tank and you're not going to for a week, right? That kind of thing. Then I treat that in a very specific way where it's like, okay, we need to go to the drawing board, because this is the kind of tired, it's a very specific kind of feeling. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It's a very specific kind of feeling where it doesn't feel like there's gas left in the tank, and it's not something that you're going to refill by leaving an hour early from work. That is not going to happen. So I could kind of see the writing on the wall for the week, really. And so then that is my chance to say, okay, stop, hold the phone. We're going back to the drawing board here. And here's what I need. I need to get myself back up to more than being productive. I need my energy to feel up enough to be able to handle the schedule that I have. And if I'm not there and it's the burnout kind of tired, and here's how you know that it's that kind of tired. There are times where I didn't get enough sleep and I am dragging and it's not effective or efficient. And it's like, it's annoying that I did that to myself, right? But that is a different kind of tired where I feel like I really do need a nap. With the burnout kind of exhaustion, even if I do feel like I need a nap, the thing that's always an element of that kind of tired is a feeling or a sensation of just being numb. Not apathy, but just shot. You know, like your nerves are shot. That to me is where it's a tinge of that. When I feel a tinge of that, then I'm like, you know what? No, this isn't how this is going to go. And we're pushing pause and we're going to rearrange some things. And that is the only time that I really let myself off the hook of my plan, is when I start to feel that, because I know the consequences of pushing through that feeling state. Like, I'm already kind of a shell of myself at that point. If I keep pushing when I'm feeling that way, I will be a heap on the floor. I will be just beyond exhaustion. And it's not good for anyone around me. It's not good for my clients. I can't produce content. I can't do anything when I get in that state. So I'm very, very, very sensitive to that state. And the other side, which is not burnout, but just tired because I didn't get enough sleep. I mean, enough days of that and you'll start to get burnout because you need freaking sleep. But if it is just a day where I am extra tired because of a lack of sleep, I do not get up. I continue to work. And the reason for that is because I need to figure it out so that I don't get myself in this space again. And for me, I just need to feel the weight of my decisions. And if I don't, if I exit stage left, right, then I never have to feel the weight of my decisions. And this is not about beating myself up or being hard on myself. It is none of that. That's a bunch of drama, right? Like if you spin on that. I do not spin on it. What happens when I feel really tired or I have an urge? Basically, you have an urge to go off of your plan, and it isn't for a reason that's like, seriously, you need to push pause or else, which is the burnout phase. Then if I have an urge to go off of the plan that I made, I do not get to do that. And it is my job to stay the course, because the truth is I can either get relief in the moment. I could give in to the urge to go take a nap, or anything that's actually good for me, but I didn't plan for it, is not okay. Because the problem with that is that we are using it as procrastination towards the things we said we were going to do. That is it. And this is where we're circling back to the virtuous procrastination. It can feel virtuous to be like, well, it's self-care, it's wellness. If you want to treat yourself right, make a plan that you can honor. Make a plan that supports you fully and means that you can get things done. That's treating yourself right. That is self-care. What isn't self-care is setting yourself up for something that doesn't work and then veering off track. It's then you're maybe taking care of yourself with a nap, but then you don't actually take the steps that you said you wanted to take towards the result that you wanted to create. So it is really about making the plan that fits you as a human. And this is why people want to do Monday Map, for example. If you don't know what Monday Map is, go to velocitywork.com. There's a pop-up that will happen that you can sign up to get the guide for Monday Map, Friday Wrap, which is about how to plan your time really well. So people will come to me with Monday Map, and what is happening when they first practice it is they aren't actually taking into account their personal life at all. They're only taking into account work stuff, and they're planning like a madwoman or a madman for their work stuff, and they're leaving themselves in the dust. Now, okay, that's part of learning. That's part of the drill. Like, you start to realize, oh, I need to take all of myself into account with this. Like, you start to wake up to these things. But if you just make the plan for work and then just skip out on yourself, skip out on your plan to do the things that you want to do for yourself, then you never feel the weight of a poor plan. So the other piece I'll say about this, and we've talked about this before, is there is discomfort involved with both sides of this. The discomfort of staying the course is that you stay the course. That's very uncomfortable to actually stay with your plan, even though you feel an urge to go take a nap, go take a walk, go get a snack, or go buy things for your office that you know you're going to need. But it's just not the time to do that. You can plan time to do those things if those things are important to you. And so there's a discomfort not answering the urge to go do that and stay the course. And if you don't stay the course and you do answer the urge and you go take a nap, or you go for the walk, or you go get a snack, or you go do a bunch of research to figure out what you're going to buy for X, Y, and Z, then the discomfort is on the other end because you experience that activity, and then you have to deal with the discomfort of not getting closer, not doing the things that you said you were going to do. The only reason you made the plan to do what you said you were going to do is because you cared about the result you were going to get. And so now you don't get the result in the timely manner that you thought you were going to get it. And so now you have to deal with that discomfort, just the discomfort of just spinning and not really getting things done towards what you want to create for yourself. So what I'm not saying is leave yourself in the dust. What I'm not saying is don't account for the personal stuff that needs to be accounted for. I am saying plan and account for all of it. Make a holistic plan, because if you don't, then it's much easier to justify the virtuous procrastination because you just didn't think through what you needed. You need more rest, plan for that. What time you need to go to bed? What time you need to get up? Like, even if you want to plan for a nap, but plan for it, right? And also physical, like taking care of your physical body from eating and exercise perspective, like plan for that if it's important to you. And if you do need to do some research to find like furniture and new things and computer and equipment for the new space, that's super important. Plan time to set aside to do that. Better yet, have somebody else do a bunch of research and give you the results of the research, and then you can dig in faster. So it's just about how you approach. And so I just wanted to share with you the lesson from the sprint and make sure that you think about this for yourself. Where are you veering off your plan? And if you don't have a plan, get a plan. Start thinking through your week. How are you going to spend your time? And when you start to spend your time like that and you're honoring your plan and then you want to veer off, your job is to stay the course. And I'm telling you, the only time that you should not stay the course is if you are feeling that tinge where your nerves are a little shot. And there's a very specific feeling with burnout, and there's almost an aura to it before you experience it fully. And so be onto yourself with that. And the second that you start to feel that, you need to push pause, go back to your calendar and figure it out so that you aren't just continuing down a really busy path with that burnout in place, or it's just starting. That's not okay, because then you're going to end up flat, and then we're really going to have a problem, right? Because then you really can't perform. So just stay ahead of that. That's the only time. That's the only time I think that you should veer from your plan. So hopefully that's helpful and giving you plenty of things to think about. But virtuous procrastination, my friends, is still procrastination. So make a plan that encompasses all the things, all the virtuous procrastinations that if you really think you need to be spending time on those, then put that in your plan and then honor your plan. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you here next Tuesday. Hey there. If you enjoyed this podcast, I highly recommend you come and check out Mastery Group. It is where owner attorneys come together to study this material, apply it, and thus create really big results for their firm and for their life. So come on over, velocitywork.com/join to get more information and get started. Show notes from this episode can be found at velocitywork.com/podcast.